Lake Berryessa is one of Northern California's largest reservoirs and is among its most fascinating. It's located in the eastern Napa County. It's roughly 30 miles northeast of Napa and is about an hour from Vallejo. The lake covers more than 20,000 acres at full, and it has approximately 165 miles of shoreline. Although it is known for boating, fishing, camping, and of course the famous Glory Hole spillway, its waters hide an entire valley, including a once thriving farming community called Montecillo. For thousands of years, the Berryessa Valley was home to the Native American people, primarily the Patwin. They're a branch of the Wintoon people, and they lived along the Puta Creek, relying on the valley's abundant wildlife. They gathered acorns, hunted fish, deer, and also gathered seasonal plants. Archaeologists documented numerous Native American villages, bedrocks, mortars, and other artifacts in the valley before it was flooded in the 1950s. Many of the sites now lie beneath Lake Berryessa. The lake gets its name from the Berryessa family. They were descendants of the Spanish settlers, brothers Jose, Jesus, and Sisto Berryessa, who became major landowners after receiving a Mexican land grant during California's Mexican era. Their ranches occupied much of the fertile valley and would eventually disappear beneath its reservoir. The family name remained one of the oldest and most recognizable in Northern California history. Before the lake existed, the center of the valley was the small agricultural town of Montecillo. Montecillo was established during the late 1800s and served local ranchers and farmers. At its peak, it included a post office, a general store, school, church, a blacksmith, hotel, cemetery, farms, orchards, and of course vineyards. So then came the dam, Montecillo Dam. After World War II, California experienced rapid population growth. Communities throughout Solano County, including Vallejo, Fairfield, Vacaville, Benicia, and Suisun City, needed dependable water supply. The U.S. Bureau of Reclamation proposed the Solano Project. Solano Project's goals were to store winter runoff, supply irrigation water, provide municipal drinking water, reduce flooding, and generate hydroelectric power. The engineers selected Devil's Gate on Puta Creek as the ideal location for a large dam, and construction on the Montecillo Dam began in 1953, and the dam was completed in 1957. With the completion of the dam became the death of a valley. It's the most emotional chapter in Lake Berryessa's history, and it was the loss of Montecillo. Residents fought unsuccessfully to save their homes, but eventually families were relocated, homes and barns were demolished, orchards were removed, finches disappeared, livestock was sold or moved, and the cemetery was even located to a higher ground near Spanish Flat. Bridges also vanished beneath the rising water, and the flooding permanently erased the town. Today, remnants such as the old Puta Creek Bridge remain underwater when the lake levels are high. The death of the valley the destruction of Montecillo was documented by renowned photographers Dorothea Lange and Perkle Jones. Their photo essay, Death of a Valley, captured the sadness of families leaving homes that they had existed for generations. Decades later, it remains one of California's most important photography projects. And it just so happens that 2026, thousands of previously unseen photographs from the project were digitized and released, providing an even richer record of the valley before it disappears. So when the dam gates closed in 1957, Poodle Creek backed up and it slowly filled at the village, and it got to full capacity. Over 20,000 surface acres, approximately 26 miles long and nearly 3 miles wide, and the 165 miles of shoreline. Storage capacity is about roughly 1.6 million acre feet, and today it remains one of California's largest reservoirs. One of the most famous features of Lake Berryessa is the enormous glory hole spillway, commonly called the glory hole. It measures 72 feet across at the top, and it begins filling when the lake reaches about 440 feet above sea level. The water drops roughly 200 feet into a tunnel that carries it to the dam into Poodle Creek. It was chosen because the narrow canyon left little room for conventional spillway. The spillway only operates when the reservoir is completely full, making it a major attraction during especially wet years. Lake Berryessa is one of the main things known as for recreation and has become one of Northern California's premier outdoor destinations. It offers boating, water skiing, wakeboarding, kayaking, paddleboarding, swimming, houseboating, camping, hiking, fishing, and just hanging out. Popular fish there include largemouth bass, spotted bass, they have rainbow trout. The king salmon is actually stocked, catfish, bluegill, and it also makes it a favorite spot for stargazing as well, with its remote shorelines. A good place for astrophotography. The surrounding hills also support a wide range of wildlife that you may encounter, so keep an eye out. There's bald eagles, golden eagles, ospreys, red-tailed hawks, great blue herons, river otters, black-tailed deer, coyotes, bobcats, mountain lions that are rarely seen, wild turkeys, rattlesnakes that are much more commonly seen, and the managed water releases also help restore habitat in downstream Poodle Creek, benefiting fish and all other wildlife. Lake Berryessa remains a critical part of Solano Project, supplying water to communities that include Vallejo, Fairfield, Vacaville, Benicia, and Suisun City, and it also irrigates thousands of acres of farmland and generates hydroelectric power. Located also over by Lake Berryessa is Knoxville Pope Canyon Bridge. It is one of the lesser known but most scenic bridges in Napa County. It's located on the Knoxville-Berryessa Road, just north of Pope Canyon Road, and it crosses upper waters of Pope Creek, one of the major tributaries feeding Lake Berryessa. Although many travelers drive across it on their way to Knoxville Recreation Area or Lake Berryessa, many don't realize the bridge tells a story of California's ranching, mining, and a water development story. Knoxville Road, developed as one of the area's primary transportation corridors, it connected Pope Valley, Berryessa Valley, and the Knoxville Mining District, also Capay Valley, and the communities farther north toward Kerr Lake. In the late 1800s, The road became especially busy because of the Knoxville mercury mine, one of California's largest mercury producers. Because mercury, well, also quicksilver, it was essential for processing the gold and silver during the mining boom. So freight wagons regularly hauled ore, equipment, livestock, and agricultural products across Pope Creek, so reliable bridges became increasingly important as traffic grew. And everything changed during the 1950s when construction began on the Montecillo Dam that created Lake Berryessa. As the reservoir filled, many existing roads, crossroads, farms, and even the town of Montecillo itself disappeared. Beneath the rising waters of Napa County, then they had to figure out how do they redesign portions of the Knoxville-Berryessa Road and build new bridges that would remain above the future lake levels that were predicted. The current Pope Creek Bridge, Knoxville-Berryessa, was completed in 1957 as a steel beam bridge. It got done just before Lake Berryessa actually began filling. And also during that time, they built a companion bridge that crosses Puda Creek in the same project. This bridge sits exactly where Pope Creek enters Lake Berryessa. It's still important today because it provides access to the Knoxville Recreation Area, the Berryessa Snow Mountain Monument, Pope Valley, hunting areas, the OHV Recreation, remote ranches, hiking trails, and wildlife habitat. Full lake experience. You got the old flowers, the doo-doo water that's just so gently brushing up against us. Yes, it's doo-doo water. Don't worry though. California immune to the doo-doo water. That's what they said. So they're gonna get in there. They're going to get in there. They're gonna take you through there, twin. Where are you going, twin? Where are we going? Yeah, take you through there. Lake water. Do you see the lake water? I see the lake water. You know what that is? It's fecal matter and moss and other things. But when you're in California, we have a